What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome to my channel. First off, I do want to say a couple things. Sorry for not getting this video up yesterday. There was an opportunity for me to go to a special dinner. Got to meet people like Drew Brees, Tom Osborne, Kevin Kugler, and it was really a really fun time. So I couldn't pass up that opportunity, but that's why this video did not come out yesterday. Secondly, I woke up maybe 30 minutes ago, so sorry if my voice is still not quite there yet this morning. Hopefully this video comes out before the noon games kick off, but if it doesn't, I sincerely apologize for it. But anyways, welcome to my Week 10 predictions. A lot of very good games to go on around the college football world this week, and this is teams' chances now to really make their impact statement known to the College Football Playoff Committee. Got two top 10 matchups, including a top 4 matchup in here as well. But before we dive into preview and predictions, hey, I want to say a couple things. First off, thank you guys for supporting the channel. There are multiple ways you can do that. You're doing one of them right now by watching this video. Other ways you can do it, like, comment, subscribe, do anything like that to help support my channel. It really does mean a lot to me. Without further adu, let's go ahead and dive into some Week 10 predictions this morning. I already predicted Oregon State, Washington. That game happened last night. Washington was able to pull it off a game-winning field goal. We're moving on now to games that are going to be taking place today. We got the Iowa Hawkeyes going on the road to play the Purdue Boilermakers. Now, all lines and odds are, for the most part, as of recording this video, I didn't see too many changes this morning when I woke up. So the lines may be a little bit fluctuated since this video has gone up. And, yeah, so just be in mind of that. And all times you're going to see are in Eastern Standard Time. So the Iowa Hawkeyes going on the road to play the Purdue Boilermakers. Purdue looking to stay alive for a Big Ten West championship and a shot to go to Indianapolis to play for a Big Ten title. What do the Hawkeyes got to do to win this game? Because I think Purdue should be the heavier favorite than 3.5, and maybe the line has grown since this video has gone live. But I think this is a Purdue team that really should have not a whole lot of problems with this Iowa Hawkeye team in this game. But there are ways the Hawkeyes can win. One, the Hawkeye offense is going to be playing catch-up. So the Hawkeye offense has got to find something. They've got to find some sort of rhythm here in this game in order to be able to match the offensive output that Purdue is going to put up in this game. Because Purdue, very, very good offensive team. Aiden O'Connell really loves to throw the ball. He's a very good quarterback. And Maccabee as well. That running back for Purdue has really started to come along and find his worth. The Hawkeye defense, my apologies, is going to have to make a lot of big plays. But will they be able to do enough against this dynamic Purdue attack? I don't think that's going to end up being the case. I got the Boilermakers winning this one by 11. This is the noon game on Fox Sports 1. So we'll see what happens here in this one. But again, story of the season for Iowa. I just don't think they have enough offensive output to get this one done. You got the Maryland Terrapins going on the road to play the Wisconsin Badgers. And I really like this matchup here as well. I think this is going to be a fun and intriguing game in the Big Ten as well. Maryland probably just missed out on the College Football Playoff Committee's rankings, but Maryland's right there. 6-2, 3-2 in conference. And while their shot at the Big Ten title game is probably gone, their shot to have a really good season is still all the way in front of them. Talia is expected to be back at the quarterback position, and I guarantee you he's going to be a problem for this Wisconsin secondary. Sorry, stay hydrated. Water is important. But the Badgers secondary has been beat by teams that can throw the ball downfield. Ohio State being one of those teams, among some other examples. Purdue, a couple weeks ago, was able to, even though Purdue ended up losing the game, was able to beat Wisconsin for some deep shots down the field, seemingly all game long. This is a Wisconsin secondary that has struggled so far this season. And if Talia is anything like if Talia plays anything like he did before his injury, the Maryland's got an excellent shot to go on the road here and pull off a win. The Badgers' run game has to start showing consistency. I think there's no doubt that it's going to show up at some point in this game, but I think it's got to show up for more than a full quarter. Maybe it has to show up for a half or 3 quarters, because this Maryland defense albeit while it still statistically isn't great, it's a lot better than defenses for this team in years past. We know the Badger run game can be really, really good. It's got to show up today. Can the Terps defense force turnovers too is another big question I have for Maryland, because when I look at this Maryland team, when I look at this Wisconsin team, they're very turnover prone offensively. If Maryland can take advantage of that and force some mistakes, I think Maryland's got a good shot here to go on the road and pull off the win. And that's what I think happens. I think Wisconsin turns the ball over one too many times. Talia looks good today, and Maryland is able to get the win. 30-27 is what I got as that final score prediction. All right, you may want to put North Carolina on upset alert here against the Virginia Cavaliers. I'm not going to go there quite yet, but let's entertain the idea. If an upset were to happen, how would it happen? Well, the Cavs offense is going to have to punish this shaky Tar Heel defense. Albeit, the Tar Heels defense has gone a lot better in the past couple of weeks, but it still is not fantastic. And the other problem with that is Virginia's offense has just been inept for most of the year, and I don't really see a whole lot from this Virginia offense that's telling me, like, hey, these guys are capable of walking into this game and pulling off a big upset. But okay, let's flip to the other side of the ball. North Carolina, you got to let Drake May go to work. He's been phenomenal for this team all year long, and there's no reason to not trust him here in this game. Albeit, the Virginia defense is going to have their work cut out for them. But this is a very capable defensive unit, and I think they've shown their potential this year. What this game boils down to is how much is Virginia going to be able to do on the offensive end. If Virginia is going to have a good offensive day, this one might be close entering the fourth quarter. But I have not seen enough from this Virginia offense to be able to confidently say that I think Virginia is going to pull off the upset or even make this one a close game. Maybe this one's close at halftime. Maybe people are looking at the score and thinking, oh, North Carolina is getting a scare from a 3-5 Virginia team that I think's about to fall to 3-6. I got North Carolina winning this one 38-20. I just don't think Virginia is going to have the offensive output needed to keep up with Drake May and the Tar Heels, and I got the Tar Heels walking away with a nice win. If you want to put upset alert on a team, especially a top 10 team, here you go. This is the game right here. I know everyone's going to pay attention to Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama, LSU, and all those games, and we'll get there. We'll get down the line. But put upset alert. My apologies, guys. My sinuses are bad this morning, too. Put upset alert on this game because Texas Tech has the offensive output they need. And TCU, that defense, while it's been good in clutch situations, it may need to turn the dial up here a little bit, especially towards the beginning of this game. But on the flip side of the ball, TCU's offense is dynamite. Max Duggan, Kendra Miller, and Quentin Johnson are fearful on the offensive end. Duggan is playing some of the best ball of his career in a TCU jersey. Kendra Miller's really emerged as a really good running back option for this team. And Quentin Johnson over the past month has just been weaponized and utilized to his fullest extent in this offense. So, really happy with the way that TCU's offense has come along, and you got to be happy if you are a TCU Horned Frog fan. I think this is going to feel like a classic Big 12 shootout. I think both offenses are going to make plays, but the story of the season for TCU so far, they have not been blowing teams out of the water. Instead, what TCU has been doing is being able to win these close kind of games and letting their defense stand up for itself late and let the defense make a play late in the game to go ahead and win this thing. And I think that's what happens again today. I think this is another close outing. I think TCU gets another scare, but I think that defense just does just enough late to help the Horned Frogs win this game. This is the big noon kickoff game on Fox, and I got the Horned Frogs pulling this one out late and winning by a touchdown. Little bit of a weird kickoff time for this one, but the Baylor Bears are going on the road to play the Oklahoma Sooners. Big matchup in the Big 12. As the winner of this one, well, Baylor can maybe play their way back into a conference championship game slot, but especially for the Oklahoma Sooners, no matter who wins this game, it's going to feel like a big boost of confidence for their team, as both teams have underperformed or have fallen below expectations this year. And two different styles of offense are going to be clashing here. We got Baylor's run first, grind it out mentality versus Oklahoma and Dillon Gabriel spreading you out and just throwing the ball downfield. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the defenses match up against the different style of offenses that they're going to be able to play against. And Baylor might be a little bit more equipped to handle what they're going to see from Oklahoma, because the Bears' pass defense has continued to improve throughout the season. It did not start out great. It did not start out great at all. But, and I'm still not saying it's fantastic, they have definitely gotten better as the weeks have progressed here in the season. But this is a different Oklahoma team with Dillon Gabriel at the helm, right? This is a different team when Dillon Gabriel is slinging passes and is finding those receivers open down the field. But the Bears' pass defense has improved, and I think they're going to give Oklahoma a pretty solid fight. Will the Bears' offense, though, have enough firepower to keep up with the way that Oklahoma runs their offensive scheme? Oklahoma, again, like I said, spread you out, hit you with the big plays, and Oklahoma, with that offensive mentality, is able to score a lot of points. Is Baylor's offense going to be able to keep up? Baylor's offense has been good this year, but that run-first mentality might get to Baylor in this game here. I'm thinking this is a pretty close game. I'm thinking this is a one-possession game, and I'm thinking this game comes down to really whoever has the ball last. I think both teams are going to struggle a little bit in the early going, but I think as the game goes along, I think both of these teams are going to end up finding some sort of rhythm. Both teams are going to be building momentum, and it may very well come down to which team has the ball last or which defense can force a turnover late in the game. And I think Baylor is more equipped to handle that scenario than Oklahoma is, and that's why I'm picking the Baylor Bears. Again, a little bit of a weird kickoff time. It's 2 o'clock on ESPN+, so this is definitely going to be a very interesting game to watch, but I am going the way of the Baylor Bears with Blake Shapen, Dave Aranda, and I think the Bears improve to 6-3, while the Sooners fall to 5-4. Very close game. If Oklahoma wins, not going to surprise me in the slightest either. I think both sides are capable, but my pick is for the green and gold. All right, we got the UCF Knights and Memphis Tigers here. I told you guys, man, sinuses are booming this morning. All right, UCF has a big road test here in American Athletic Play, and there's some quarterback question marks coming into this game for the Knights. One, is John Rice Plumlee going to be able to play? I believe he had concussion symptoms and may have even been diagnosed with a concussion or is in concussion protocol, whatever have you. Let's see what John Rice Plumlee looks like today. Or will they be able to go with Mikey Keene at quarterback? Again, this may have been announced at this point, but I have not seen anything that has made me change stuff on my slides. Maybe something's come out by the time this video has come up. But as of recording, nothing has really changed that dynamically. Memphis, now this is a typo, and I apologize for this. I'm just noticing this now. Memphis has not really forced turnovers lately. It has to force turnovers here. This is a really good UCF offense, and if Memphis is going to want to be able to beat this UCF team, yeah, they're going to have to come up with a couple defensive stops, but they're going to have to come up with a couple turnovers there in those possessions there as well. And I think Memphis is equipped to do a pretty good job of that. So is UCF in some road trouble here? I think I wouldn't be surprised to see this game on an upset alert for UCF here as this game goes along. But I think UCF is well more than equipped to handle what it's going to see from Memphis in this game. And I think UCF is able to pull this one out, and I got the Knights winning this one by 5. I think Memphis is going to put up a fight. I think they're going to play a pretty solid defensive game. But at the end of the day, I think UCF, no matter who ends up playing quarterback for this team, I think their offense is going to be a little too much for the Tiger defense to handle, and UCF gets that extra possession they need to go ahead, drive down the field, and win themselves a football game. UCF by 5. How about this for a matchup there, huh? Pitt, the early favorite against the Syracuse Orange. And, again, lines may have changed. I haven't looked at them up to this point. But Syracuse, the 20th ranked team in the entire nation. And they are 6-2 heading into this game. They have lost 2 straight, albeit the two pretty solid opponents. Mind you, though, they lost to Clemson and they lost to Notre Dame. So, I mean, 2 pretty solid teams Syracuse lost to still find themselves in the college football playoff committee's rankings. Can the Syracuse D-line match up against the Pitt O-line? Pitt's success, and we talked about this last week when I mentioned the North Carolina game. Sorry for whatever's happening with my green screen. The sun is shining through my window. So, but Syracuse, Pitt. I was on Pitt. Pitt's success comes from running the football. They're really successful when they're able to run for over 200 yards in a single game. So that's exactly what Pitt is going to look to do here in this game as well. They're going to be looking to run the ball, and they're going to be looking for success on the ground. Pitt is also a team with a really good offensive line. That's why they're able to run the ball so well. Is Syracuse defensive line going to be able to keep up? I think that's a very important thing to watch out for. But if you're Syracuse, there is some quarterback questions for this team. Garrett Schrader got pulled last week and faced for Jack Del Rio, I'm pretty sure is that name. So we'll end up seeing who that quarterback is for Syracuse in this game, whether Schrader comes out and starts, whether it's Del Rio that ends up getting that spot. But no matter who the quarterback is, you got to let Sean Tucker, Gadsden, and some of the other offensive weapons really go to work, because this can be a really good offense. This can be a really potent offense here as well. And Syracuse, their MO all season long has been play good complementary football. And I think that's what Syracuse is going to be able to do here in this game, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I do think Pitt is able to use their advantage on the offensive line, and I think their defensive line gets some good pressure on whoever happens to play quarterback for Syracuse as well, just with the quarterback questions, with the way that Pitt is able to run the football. I do have Pitt pulling off the upset here and getting the slight victory, and I got Pitt winning this one by a single point. 1 point. All right, the Oklahoma State Cowboys are going on the road to play the Kansas Jayhawks, and hey, Kansas, the 1-point favorite here in this game. But there is quarterback questions for both of these teams. Will Jalen Daniels or Spencer Sanders be able and ready to go in this game? I'm just seeing a report now that Jalen Daniels could be available to play against Oklahoma State today, and I'll check on Spencer Sanders here in a minute. But let's see here. Spencer Sanders. Yep, well, he's game time decision, so I've seen. So probably will end up being decided by by when this video comes out. So you guys will know if Jalen Daniels and Spencer Sanders are ready to go. I do not, so I am making a prediction based off the fact that both teams are going to have their backup quarterbacks in. But it seems like Spencer Sanders might be more likely to play than Jalen Daniels, although both teams could have their star quarterbacks ready to go by the time kickoff is set to roll around. I think no matter who are the quarterbacks for these teams, expect some offensive fireworks. And both these defenses have really struggled this year. Oklahoma State, I think, definitely has the edge defensively, and Kansas has a hard time commanding an offense or running a defense that is able to stop a team, that is able to spread you out, that's able to get the ball downfield and everything like that. So Kansas definitely got their work cut out for them, especially on the defensive end this week. But whichever defense is able to step up more and make the bigger play is where this game is going to fall. And I think that's Kansas in this game. Oklahoma State, especially defensively, has had trouble, keeping points off of the board. And especially if Jalen Daniels is ready to go here in this game, look, man, this is going to be a hard game for Oklahoma State to win. I think Kansas bounces back. I think they become bowl eligible. And I think Oklahoma State, look, that defense has got to play so much better than they did last year. And I'm just not all that confident in Oklahoma State right now. Give me the Jayhawks to pull off this win and become bowl eligible. What a story Kansas has been so far this year. And they continue that with a win this week. Ooh, all right. Now things are getting interesting, huh? The game of the week. Oh, I can't wait to watch this game. The Tennessee Volunteers and the Georgia Bulldogs are facing off on a football field this week. Number 1 versus number 3. Can it get much better than this? I think a lot of people thought that we were robbed of a 1 versus 2 matchup. Ohio State, you see the jersey I'm wearing, ended up getting that number 2 spot, which, hey, that's my top 3 in order, so I'm not really all that picky about it. But this is going to be some different kind of game. Both teams are 8-0. This is a de facto SEC East championship game, and I can't wait to watch this one. There are some things that I do want to talk about leading into this game, though. The first off, this is going to be the best defense that Tennessee's offense has faced and is going to face, all season long. This is going to be the best defense that Tennessee has faced all season long, and I'm going to be very, very curious to see how Tennessee handles what the Georgia defense is going to be able to throw at them, because the Georgia defense loves to mix things up. They go with different looks, and I know Nolan Smith, the linebacker, just went down for injury. And there are a couple other injuries this Georgia defense is dealing with, but when this Georgia defense is on, and it's going to be on today, man, is it a scary unit to go play against. Now, flip it. This is going to be the best offense that Georgia's defense has faced as well. So how will the Georgia defense be able to handle the tempo and pace that this Tennessee offense is able to play with? Those are a couple questions that are going to be answered today. Another one, the Vols secondary versus the Dogs receiving core. Georgia has a lot of really physical bodies in the wide receiver core, and something just clicked in that Tennessee secondary last week. We'll see if they're able to continue it here in this game, as this is the Tennessee defense that has wildly improved as the season has gone forward. So we'll see if Tennessee is able to keep up defensively with this Georgia offense as well, because I think Georgia's going to throw a lot of different looks in here offensively. And look, on paper, this is going to be a phenomenal game. Can't wait to see how Tennessee's defense handles. Can't wait to see how both defenses play, how both offenses play. I'm just so excited to watch this game. There is one thing, though, and this probably tells you where my prediction lies, but there is one thing that I think is going to be the big difference in this game. Tennessee has pulled off some really big wins this year. LSU, they did that on the road. It was a noon game. Bama, they did that at home. Kentucky, the way they dismantled them last year, that was also in Neyland Stadium. Tennessee has pulled off a lot of really, really good home wins. Granted, I know LSU was on the road, but it was not as good as an environment as you're going to get from Death Valley and Night, which does make a difference in my opinion. And I know this is still not a night game, but this is going to be the best environment that Tennessee has played in all year long. And I think at the end of the road, it's going to get to them. I think this is going to be an absurdly close game. I think it's going to be an absurdly good game throughout. A lot of back and forth. But if Georgia has the ball last, which I believe they will, I think that spells a little bit of trouble for Tennessee. I got the Georgia Bulldogs staying at home and knocking off the number 1 team in the nation. This is going to be such a phenomenal game to watch. You're going to want to tune into this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. One of the most anticipated games of the college football season by far. All right, how about this one for a game, huh? The Liberty Flames going on the road to play the Arkansas Razorbacks. I know I talked about that past game a lot, so I'll kind of zoom through a couple of these here that are coming up. And sorry that Liberty's graphics are hard to read. I'll work on new graphics next year as usual. But Liberty Flames, Arkansas Razorbacks, Independent versus the SEC. I think this is going to be another really, really good game to watch here. Now, it doesn't surprise me that Arkansas is that 14.5-point favorite. They're probably still a double-digit favorite as I sit here and as this video goes live. Both offenses have very explosive abilities. Arkansas showed that last week. They reminded everyone that this is still an explosive offense that's capable of putting up points. And Liberty has definitely shown their worth this year on the offensive end as well. But Liberty turns the football over. And Arkansas is great at taking advantage off of turnovers. So that's something that Arkansas is going to want to force, and that's something that Liberty is going to want to limit. Now, the one thing about Liberty is they have been described as a fishbowl team, as in they play to the level of their competition. Whether that be, beating BYU by 27 points or only beating Gardner-Webb by 1 point. So Liberty's had some struggles against teams that they really should have blown out, and they've blown out teams that they really should have struggled, struggled against. Expect a 4-quarter fight. I think this one's going to be close throughout, but I do think that the firepower of Arkansas and the inconsistency of Liberty, I just don't trust Liberty right now as much as I may emotionally want to pick Liberty. Look, this is a business decision. I'm going with the Arkansas Razorbacks. I think they're able to pull this one out by double digits. Liberty's inconsistencies worry me, and Arkansas is getting on a roll now. So I got the Hogs winning this one by 11. All right, how's this for a game here, huh? The Texas Longhorns going on the road to play the Kansas State Wildcats in a really good game to watch in the Big 12 Conference. Texas is the 2.5-point favorite as I sit here and talk to you guys. Again, it's probably changed. Both teams ranked in the College Football Playoff Committee's initial ranking. Some may be surprised to see that Texas is ranked there. But hey, with Quinn Ewers at quarterback, with B. John Robinson at running back, with Xavier Worthy there as well, this is a really good Texas team, especially offensively. And will the Wildcats defense be able to continue last week's effort? They were phenomenal last week against Oklahoma State. In fact, Kansas State in its entirety played a near perfect game last week against Oklahoma State, and they really didn't even need that big of an effort. They could have sufficed with a lesser effort and still been able to come out away with the win here in this game. Kansas State may not have to play as well as they did last week, but they got to play pretty darn well to get past a tough Texas team, and you got to play well defensively there as well. That's one thing you got to watch out for if you are a Kansas State fan. Keep an eye on this Texas offense, and if you're Kansas State, be able to contain what Texas is able to throw at you on the offensive end. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. Kansas State still has some quarterback questions, but whether or not it's Adrian Martinez or Will Howard for Kansas State, Deuce Vaughn is going to be able to work. Make no mistake about it. This is Adrian Martinez's team, but Will Howard did more than enough last week, and he's done more than enough when he's had to come in and play some ball for this team. So, look, I'm really, really excited to watch this game, but there's one thing that's swaying my opinion, and it's that bottom bullet point you see towards the bottom of your screen. Bijan is going to take advantage of the Wildcats' shaky run defense. Kansas State, in games they've lost, teams have been able to run all over them. In fact, defensively, period, when Kansas State allows less than 300 yards, they are 4-0, and they're 2-2 when doing otherwise. And I'm just going to say front out, they are not holding this Texas offense to under 300 yards. I don't think their defense is going to be able to do enough, especially on the ground. And I got Texas pulling this one out. Close game, very close game, and the Kansas State offense is going to put up their fair share of points. But the Texas Longhorns go on the road and get a huge win and move into second place in the Big 12 Conference. Okay, here is the other big matchup that everybody is talking about, and I got a pretty, I'm not going to say controversial, But I got a pretty differing opinion here on this game. I think a lot of people look at that line at the bottom of your screen and say 13.5. Oh my goodness. That is too big of a line for a top 10 game. And you are absolutely right. Sorry, I just hit the springs on my mic stand. But this is Alabama. We are talking about here in LSU. Well, they have played well this year, and Jaden Daniels has been really good for this team. Alabama's going to flip that kill switch somewhere, and I'll mention that here in a little bit. But Bryce Young and company get another road test. Look, they've had a lot of road tests this year. They had a road test against Tennessee. They had a road test against Texas. They had their moments against Arkansas, albeit Bryce Young went down with injury, where they didn't really look great. The road game this year has not been kind to Bama. Well, they got 2 huge road games left this week and then next week against Ole Miss. And Bama's going to flip that kill switch on some way. But Jaden Daniels is going to have to take shots in this game. And he's going to have to handle Bama's pressure, as LSU's offensive line has been shaky this year up to this point. So he's going to have to be able to handle what Bama's going to be able to throw at him. And Dallas Turner, Will Anderson, some of those other names on the Bama defense that are just ridiculous. And they got to be able to take shots against this Bama secondary. That's something that Arkansas wasn't able to do, but it's something that Tennessee was able to do. It's something that Texas was able to do, and it beat this Bama team badly. So Jaden Daniels is going to have to play a pretty good game. But the thing that is making me avoid picking the upset here is Bama is about to flip on the ever so dangerous kill switch. And when Bama has the kill switch on, especially on the road, it is not a fun day for the home crowd in that stadium. And I think that's what happens here. There's going to be a game, and it may not be this week. I may be 1 week early. It may be next week here against Ole Miss. On the road, where Alabama is going to flip that kill switch and just shellac someone. I don't think they shellac LSU. I think LSU keeps this a pretty competitive game. But I do think Alabama wins this one by a wider margin than I think people may be expecting initially out of this game. No discredit to the LSU Tigers and anything they're doing. I just think when Bama flips that kill switch and when Nick Saban is in full business mode, this is a different Bama unit. And I think we're going to see one of, if not the best performance that Bama has put on so far this year in this game tonight. Give me the Bama Crimson Tide. 13.5, still a little bit too much for me, but I do think Bama wins this one by double digits as they get a big road win in Death Valley. All right, this is a pretty interesting one here as well. The Clemson Tigers going on the road to face the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And a lot of people may be surprised. Clemson did end up getting that 4th spot in the college football playoff committee rankings. So a little bit of a surprise there. And some people in maize and blue may not be very happy for multiple reasons in this video. The fact that I'm wearing this and the fact there's a number 4 by Clemson's name and not by Michigan's name. But, albeit, stuff is going to end up working itself out. And this is a potential for upset alert. You want to put another top 10 team on upset alert? Don't look at me like that. I know you do. Here's a game that you got to watch for then. Along with keeping up with those 2 night games there, keep an eye on this game because this game could get fun. But the Irish are going to need a downfield. The Irish are going to need to find a downfield pass game, and they're going to need to find some offense, period. I think Notre Dame is going to be able to find some sort of stride offensively in this game. But look, this is a really good Clemson defense too. So Notre Dame's got to be able to take some shots. They can't be afraid to take some risk here in this game. And the Irish are going to need to find some sort of spark on the offensive end. And I think they're going to have to find it in the downfield pass game. Now, the Tigers' offense is still growing this year. I know there are people out there that are saying I'm skeptical of this Clemson offense. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, I kind of know what I'm getting from this offense. It's a good running game. It's solid enough quarterback play. And it's an offense that I am confident now in saying I think it'll do enough to win you a football game. However, there is quarterback controversy. DJ Uiagalelei got pulled in that last game against Syracuse, and Cade Klubnik was able to go in and finish the job. albeit neither quarterback looked great in that game. Who starts today? Does DJ say, hey, or does Dabo Swinney say, hey, DJ, I know you had a rough game, but we trust you. You're our guy. Go out there and get us a big road win. Or are they going to turn to the freshman and say, hey, DJ, we're going to turn over a new leaf. We're going to see what the freshman is able to do, and maybe DJ comes in later. But I think the thing that's most important to watch for in this game, whose defensive lines and offensive lines that are able to take over. Both of these teams have really good defensive lines. Both these teams have really good offensive lines. But I lean the way of Dabo Swinney and Clemson more. Notre Dame is going to put up a fight, and I think they're going to put up more of a fight than some people may expect, because I know some people are thinking, just where does the offense come from this Notre Dame team, right? Where is the offense coming from? I think we're going to find out here in this game, and I think it's going to be an interesting game, a close game throughout, but I do think Clemson gets that one extra little bounce of the ball, and Clemson survives on the road against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I'm very skeptical of where the offense is going to come from here from the blue and gold. And the last game I'll be talking about here, I'll run through this one fairly quickly, is it's a pretty simple game to break down. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons and NC State Wolfpack are going to be fighting now, seemingly for second place in that ACC division, although you have Syracuse there as well. 21 versus 22. The winner stays in the poll. The loser probably drops out unless it's a really close competitive game that goes into like 4 overtimes or something like that. Knock on wood. But Wake, as I record this, I believe is still the betting favorite. Will the struggling Wolfpack offense keep up with the way that Sam Hartman, with the different looks that Sam Hartman and company are going to throw at the NC State defense on the other end of the ball? And will the Wake Forest defense be able to make enough plays to be able to hold off this NC State defense that doesn't have Devin Leary? Quite simply put, though, this game is going to be won on the other side of the ball. If Wake Forest offense is able to get past this NC State defense, be able to get past them with ease, yeah, all right, Wake Forest is going to have a pretty good day. If NC State is able to really halt this Wake Forest offense and force turnovers, like Wake Forest gave out like Halloween candy last week, then yeah, NC State's going to have a good shot to win this game. But look, quite simply, I just think that Sam Hartman and company had one of those weird, awkward off days. And I think they are going to bounce back, and I expect Wake Forest to roll in here with NC State and win this game. If NC State had Devin Leary and their offense has shown me a little bit more throughout the year, I would trust NC State to pull off this win, but I'm going with the Demon Deacons here in this one. I got them winning 31-27. And with that, that closes my Week 10 predictions. I appreciate you guys all for watching, and I'm sorry again for not getting this video out. An opportunity that I had to take in advantage of came awry, and I couldn't miss it. So I thank you guys for your understanding. I appreciate the guys that still were able to watch this video as well. But like, comment, subscribe, do anything like that. Help support my channel. And remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next video later today. Probably later on tonight will be my Ohio State fan reaction. Goodbye.